Hello, good morning, happy Tuesday. Hopefully your days have been going so well so far. I am sort of like getting back into the groove after a long weekend, trying to start up at the normal time, and basically just like normal days again. So in other words, I was slightly late, and all right, I don't need you people. Let's see. Got all that stuff there, and oh yes. So an update on the sort of like things that I was working on yesterday yesterday, where for like the deployment and getting things it wasn't deployment, but it was similar to that. Oh right, like backend type stuff and capturing the user agent. So I did a little bit more research and I found that I can attach an S3 bucket to CloudFront. So I did that, and that's now where logs are going in. These are access logs. So anytime somebody hits it, it sends a log inside of there. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to erase those over time. But in the meantime, I'll just have to sort of keep an eye on the cost for that. In the meantime, I found that a service called Athena, so AWS Athena, allows me, using S3 again, to sort of like store the results of this, to query S3. So I basically can use SQL to query the resulting logs from, from CloudFront and get that. So I was able to do a quick test one and was able to see all of my user agents. I was also able to get country locations too. So like, that I'm in Denver, and that somebody else is like connecting from just like general regions. And so that'll be nice for me to determine whether or not I should expand out and put this in a different region, as opposed to just North America and Europe. So that frees us up to continue working on the next ticket. Uncle Scientist, hello. I saw that you were working on. I missed the stream, but I saw that you were working on your roguelike again. How is that? Okay, so a brand new roguelike for now until you get stuck. That's interesting. So is it like a different engine that you're doing, or you're just doing like a different game, or you're restarting? I've never built a roguelike to begin with, but I played several, and they do tend to be really fun and addicting. Let's see. So steps. All right. So this one is going to be creating the navbar. So design wise, that's going to look like this. We're going to have an invisible navbar at the top. We're going to have a logo at the top left, sort of like inside of there, and then the Brooks builds, and then also just to make sure that we have the page, this welcome to Brooks builds here. So that's the plan. So that's what these are here. So steps. How are we going to have to go through and do this? Well, I guess like the first thing we're going to do is build, create a component. Like, I guess we'll just start creating components for it and just sort of like see how we go. Also, the other thing is, do I want to set up Cypress for testing for this? Because I kind of do. just to show like, okay, we have those components and they exist on the page. Although usually I pull out Cypress for some kind of like interactivity and not just like the way it looks. Although Cypress supposedly can do that too. I've never configured it for that. So I'm thinking we can set up Cypress and we could have our first test be that the logo exists. So we'll do a little bit of end-to-end test driven development. I don't need you open. I will open. All right, now end-to-end development testing here. I think I can put this into, well, so I can make this a separate project, or I can put this inside of Platform Web. I kind of like the idea of making this a separate project because it's going to be essentially end-to-end test everything that's going to be hitting, like eventually the platform backend, which I don't need right now. So let's do a new folder in here. We're going to do, I guess like end-to-end tests or integration tests. Inside of here, we'll set things up. All right, so we have nothing going on here. Cypress is fairly easy to install and set up. All we need is Node.js and whatever other random things that it needs, which we'll find out when we install it. So I'll start by creating a package.json. And the bare minimum I need in here is just an object. And so then I can start installing things. So npm, I believe I am using 14. I need to be using much later than that. nvm install, yes. Oh, now using version, okay. So I need to update my dot. I must have something in my my dot files to tell it to use 14 instead of 16, because I already have that installed. Let me go ahead and change that to m.cshrc. Oh, that's interesting. So I'm not telling it to use anything at all. So that's just what it decides to use. Okay, so I want to use nvm use LTS. All right, so next time I should start off with LTS version right away. All right, we'll do an npm install Cypress. Oh, and the other thing is that I should be doing these things in other branches. I need to remind myself to do that, to do like sort of like the branch and pull request style, because I do have GitHub Actions set up to sort of handle those workflows. So let's make sure we got the latest. We do. And this is going to be new application M4. It's number 13. So this is going to be number. Let's not start with 13. We can do that. 13 navbar. Okay, integration test. So I installed Cypress. I can now, if I run Cypress, it will, or I open Cypress, it's going to create a bunch of files and folders in here for me, which is one of the reasons I wanted to do this in its own sort of folder system. So we're going to do npx Cypress open. So Cypress has a 10 version now, which is significantly newer than the older versions. All right, here's what it's looking like. Interesting. They now have a component testing system. That's interesting. We're going to do end-to-end testing. So if I click on that, it creates all of these, but it doesn't create. Okay. Let's choose. I guess I'll choose Chrome for this. I like to use a different browser than I have, so that way I can see the browser in my taskbar as like a separate browser. So when I switch to it, I don't have to like then switch other windows. Okay, so create a new empty spec. All right, so it looks like it wants this to be Cypress end-to-end spec.cy.js. This is going to be maybe like navbar. And this is what it looks like. Okay, what do I want to do? So this is going to be our nav bar. It has, I guess like it has a logo. Every time I hit return, it's going to rerun these tests, which is going to be fine for now. But you are going to be failing to connect in here. We have a Cypress config. End-to-end set up node events. Oh, and I can do config stuff here, like config dot base URL. Nice. So I can say that you are local. Okay, let's go ahead and get our front end running here. Okay, so localhost port 8080. That should be correct for use. Then I want to visit slash, and this should work. .404 not found. I wonder if I need to restart it with the config set. No, okay, so it can't find that. So that was not the way to set up a base URL. All right, well, let's do some research. Cypress base URL. Okay, for Cypress 10, good. Oh, okay. Define config. Okay, so just inside of here, we're going to just have base URL. Okay. I did that not correct. So there we go. Okay, so now we hit slash. Our base URL displays this. This is great. I'll leave this over here, and our code can go over here. Okay, so we're going to visit slash, and then I want to get the navbar, and specifically I want to get the logo in the navbar and make sure that that exists. So I'm thinking we'll do a .get. Let's see. I probably want to do something like a data test equals nav logo. So now this will yell at me because I don't actually have that. So now we need to go actually implement this in code. Okay, so in source we have, let's see, components, atoms, molecules. So our navbar is going to be on the top. It's going to be made up of other components, or rather, it's going to have components inside of it. So it's probably a molecule. Let's create a new file in here. Really, this should probably be like this is a top navbar. Let's see. I don't know what I need to pull in for this right now. But we will return HTML. Okay, so if I pull that in here, I then want this to display on the main page. So then we're going to head into lib.rs. Not exact. Wait. This is my platform backend. This one here. Okay. So we have this div class. Okay, let's put in platform navbar up here. Okay, so molecules, background, navbar, top navbar. Oh, well, it's not really anything special because, I mean, it exists. Let's open up an actual browser and look at it in here. You failed. Why are you upset? Can I find navbar in, so in mod. Oh, I didn't save it. That's why. There we go. So there's our top navbar. That CSS reset is the reason why this text is so small. I want to give it sort of like a size, so I'm thinking I could do a little bit of styling for this ahead of time. I'm also thinking that I could just bring in something like Bootstrap and use that because it's easy. It's not. I mean, it's not terrible. Mosquite Skilla. Sorry if I mispronounced your username, but hello, welcome. I am working on a web application in Rust and U.rs. And so we're working on a top navbar right now. So I'm thinking about pulling in Bootstrap for this, as opposed to something like Tailwind or anything else. I think it's just sort of like, it's more opinionated. That'll be fine. I can sort of like switch away from it relatively easily, since I'll just like keep all these things inside the components. So let's go grab. We do want to make sure we're on the latest. And then we'll pull in the CSS and the JavaScript. Now, because of this, I don't really need this Maya reset anymore, because Bootstrap comes with a Maya reset, or at least some kind of reset. So we have my main.css. I don't necessarily need this anymore either. What am I doing with it? Yeah, okay, so I'm setting like a root font family, and a background color of this. So actually that is fine. So above this, we'll pull in CSS. And we'll also pull in view. Okay, so right away we notice that everything changes because I'm not using the CSS anymore. I'm not using the CSS reset anymore, but I am using Bootstrap, so it sets what an H1 really is. I don't think I'm even, yeah, I'm not even zoomed in. So this looks decent enough for that. Although it is an H1, so I might want to increase the size of this significantly. All right, so I want to go find probably not JS components. Want oh, components here. So a navbar. So a navbar like this, if I make this larger, okay, this is what it looks like filled up. This is fine. I can make this a top navbar too. I think that's fine. And then sort of like scrunched up, it'll look like this, which is also fine because we don't have that much room here. So I can pull, I don't need all of this. I'm just gonna write what I need to. What are you? Edit? No. So we'll have a nav tag, class bar, I can do background light or I can do background dark. I think in this case I want the background light. Okay, so then they have this container fluid, which goes, if I remember correctly, for fluid, it's pretty much all the way to the edge. Okay, then they have this A tag, which is going to be this nav bar here. So this is where we're going to put our logo. Now I could make this an A tag, but I can also make this an image. So in my static folder, I just have this here. I want to see. Can I go find? Yes, okay. Here is that logo that we can use. It's unoptimized. This is fairly large for what I need it to be. I can fix that a little bit later. So I'm going to use this as an image tag. Okay, so image, make this a class, navbar brand source. Okay, so I want to go to slash and then brooks.png. Alt is Brooks's logo. I don't know if I want anything else happening with this, so if I just close you. So if I'm getting this alt here, it means it can't find the image. Yeah, could not load image. Oh, right, because I think it's under static, right? So if I change you. There it goes. Slash static slash. The reason for that is whenever I recompile, this static folder is copied into dist as just like static. So starting from slash static and then get in there. Okay, that is really huge, and I don't need it to be that huge. What are my options for updating this? I think I can do an open on it and open this in preview, and I can like maybe resize this to be significantly smaller. So let's see. I want to see into builds, platform, web, static. Okay. Adjust size. Ooh, I can do something like fit into 320 by 320 pixels. 2 pixels here, please. Scale. Okay, so how is this going up in size when I'm going down? Is this making it go up? Wait, hold on. I'm confused. Your width is 453 by 407 pixels. Okay, so I need to be just like significantly smaller. Just, no, not color. So let's do, okay, pixels, keep you together. Let's go with the width. Let's do, I don't know, is 50 pixels too small? Maybe like, let's try 50 pixels. This will make it 3 kilobytes. Maybe a little bit more, maybe like 75 pixels. Maybe that's like double the size. We'll see. I have the original somewhere else. So that's still fairly large for what I need it in the top left. So maybe 50 would be right. Let's do 50. I'll resave this, and there we go. That looks nice. Okay, so can I do background light? If I remove you altogether. Oh, there we go. I don't have the background light, and it doesn't show the background. So That's perfect. And then if I want this logo here, and to pass our tests, we're going to put a data test equals, what am I looking for? I think it was like nav logo. Nav logo. Now this is passing. Now this is interesting. It's showing, that's showing the top sort of like this navbar still having these colors. That's not great. Oh yeah, that's exactly what we're seeing. So interesting, in Firefox, it doesn't show this top navbar, like it doesn't show like the white background. On this one it does, or I fixed it in the wrong place. That makes it better. Okay. That would have been good to like actually fix it in a real place instead of just the inspector and then forget that I didn't do it in a real code. Okay. I accidentally closed Chrome, so let's restart you. Okay, so it reaches out, it finds our logo in the top left here, so that's great. So we now have our logo. Let's see, so steps that we did here, we, I guess like, installed Bootstrap 5. We set up Cypress, and I guess like now definition of done. Yep, end-to-end test written. Set up Cypress. We resized logo. Created navbar. All right, what's next? These are all done too. Has the logo on the left side. So I see that here now. Has the app name next to the logo. So in our design, we want just this Brooks Builds. So for our test, so we got the navbar logo, and I don't think there's anything special that we need to do with that right now. We just want to make sure that that exists. So then, okay, so is plain object. What are you? Oh, types for Lodash. Don't need you. It's okay. Next up, I want to what are we gonna? I just want that title on here. So, so navbar has the title of the web app. Okay, so I think this is going to be the nav title. So if I run this, our test is now going to show, hey, it looked for this title, it couldn't find it. So we need to create a sort of like a spot here for that. Did I close that file? I must have closed the file. Okay, so next to you, and I want to go back and review what we have in here. So we have this A, and then they just have this button. Oh, that takes us home right now. Although this is on the right-hand side. Not necessarily. So I can just do anything in here. I could do an H1 tag, but I don't necessarily think that that makes sense. I can just do a navbar text like this. Yeah, so looks like we can do a span with a navbar text. Also, hello homeless. So after our image, we'll do a span class equals navbar text. This will be Brooks builds. Now you're showing up on the right-hand side, and I want you to show up on the left-hand side right next to this. So it's not exactly what I'm going for. Yash, hello. Go to helper classes. It's over here somewhere, isn't it? Is it down at the bottom? Chantilly, hello. Oh, do I want to move the chat window to the right side? Sure. Let me do that. Yeah, that is in the way. Nope, that's not the chat window. Where would it make sense? Put it like down here. It's like covering stuff over there too. Feel like, hold on, let me move myself over into the corner more. It's like right above me. I don't know if this, well, I don't know what that is. Does this make sense? But that adds like a whole bunch of black bars. I don't know. I feel like I want to create like and design a new sort of overlay, or like what the system's gonna look like. Oh, maybe I can make the background of this just black. Oh, and I need to open up maybe Stream Parrot again and like configure it to have a black background. Otherwise, I would need to I guess I could always overwrite the CSS. Okay, wrong one. This one. How bad is this? Do you hate this? Let me know. I'll try it out for a little bit, and I don't like it. I want to do something else with this, but just to move forward right now with the chat as it is, I will figure this out later. So utils position. So utils position. Okay, quick positioning classes are available. Arrange elements. Okay, so I can do. I feel like all I really want to do is put them together. Okay, so I can just do flexbox in there, huh? Direction, okay, so we can do a flex row like this. So really all I need to do is just have a div surrounding this. I feel like that's what we need. So another div. And then we can have that have, let me try just to see what happens when I do this. Actually, that just works out. I don't even need Flexbox for this. It just puts it in the correct spot exactly where I want it. I would definitely need Flexbox if I didn't use a span though, because if I'm just doing a span that's inline already, so that's gonna work the way we sort of expect it to. And then anything outside of that div is going to be out here on the right. Add some margin to the text. You don't like it this close, you want it a little bit farther away. Margin top 5 pixels. To, what, do you think it's not centered along the image? Oh yeah, because like the image is a little bit off like that. So if I take you, I think there's a class for margin top, right? Like margin top 5? What? Okay, so M for classes at margin. Oh, I wouldn't want to do like specifically pixels anyways, because this might be different on different displays. But okay, so I want like, okay, so MT MT-1, I think. So if I throw in here MT-1, okay, that does give a margin top. Yeah, rem for root M. That doesn't really do anything here. So if I, even if I set margin top like, oh, 10 doesn't exist. That's collapsing on it. So it's not going to change because there already is a margin top, and so it's going to stay the same. We can maybe do like a padding top. No, that also doesn't change anything because it already sort of exists, so it's collapsing into it. I mean, I think does it really look that bad here? Does it really need to be like brought down by a few pixels? I think it's fine, right? Like what about it? Like why does it need to be dropped down by just a few pixels? Because doing this something like that is an anti-pattern to like position relative it. If possible, we want to never position anything. Unless there's like special purposes for it. And like have it work with the flow. But yeah, I'm still not sure like why doesn't it look good here? Like why does it need to be dropped down by 5 pixels? Right, but why does it need to be dropped down? Like I guess I don't understand why its position is not appropriate here. Cuz this to me looks fine. You have a critical eye? So like, but what specifically about it? Like, can you name like it's too high because the, you know, like what specifically about it is not matching, is like not good? Is it because like the middle of the B here is like too high in the image? Like what? Like unless we can be like super specific about what exactly is the problem, I can't figure out why, like what exactly to do to make it better. Looks like it's not horizontally aligned with the picture. Okay. So, basically if we draw a line in between here, so we want this to be something like that. So closer to the mouth for the center alignment. Jenkinsick, hello. I think it aligns with the part of the image that has more empty space. Yeah, and to look into this, we have a margin, looks like. Top and bottom. So it is vertically aligned with the center of the image. But I think it's because the image starts like smaller because it's a face, and then it includes like the shoulders, so it gets wider at the bottom. I think that's what the problem is, right? Yeah, so editing the image would probably be the best thing to do. It's I wouldn't, so like this type of thing where it's an example of like, don't fix in code what like is actually just a problem somewhere else, because then we run into other errors elsewhere, which is going to make it much, much worse. Okay, so that being said, I don't have another image to use right now, and I'm not exactly sure how to fix this in the image. Like I need to add some space to the top of it, I think. So here we have the image here. I don't know how to adjust the size without, like, okay, so don't scale it. Make the height 50. No, because that just stretches it. I don't want to do that. I want to add like a little bit of space up here. My lack of photo editing skills is coming apparent in here. So I think what I'm gonna do to keep us moving forward is I'm gonna add in a thing to do for this. So this is gonna be fix image or fix logo. Fix Brooksville's logo, so that it is a square. Yeah, so I need to trim off something for that. I'll probably do that later off stream, maybe. Download GIMP and do it there. Using this tool, I don't think works out very well. Unless I can do a crop. I can do it in Figma. Oh. Could be interesting too. Okay, so here we have, this is, oh, come on. I can't actually see what the size is. This is 50 by 45, so 50x, 45 width. I can't add pixels, so I'm gonna have to make this 45 by 45. So I have to take off width. Something like that. Okay, no, that whatever I did, don't save. Cancel. That was, no, stop. Undo. That was not what I wanted to do. Okay, so where is crop? Tools. Yeah, I'll do this in Figma later. That's a future problem. Until then, we're just gonna have to live with it not being perfect and being just slightly off. So sorry about triggering you. All right, anybody else for the 5 pixels off because it's not a square image? Oh, and this is now in doing. Okay, so it has an app name next to the logo, so we've got that. Let's see. So that is the navbar exists. So here you're with that. Next thing is I want the landing page title to exist. So here, I want to do that when we're on the landing page and not just all the time, which means we need to start having pages, which means we need a router. So let's see, you're running something, okay. So those are modified, those are new. Yes, this is a single page application. Okay, so I have Cypress there, including some example stuff, that's fine. This is fine too. Okay, so what do? We created, it's going to be stateful. It's going to have a state. We're probably going to use Udux for the state of it. So think very similar to Redux in React. Git commit, let's see, what do we did? We created top navbar with logo and title. Okay, so I've got you. Oh, what is Udux? Sorry, Redux. So are you familiar with React? So React.js is, I'd say like it's the closest framework that Vue is sort of trying to emulate. Although there are lessons from Angular, there's lessons from Vue that I've sort of seen inside of Vue, which I really like. But it feels like for the most part it's React. And you can actually see here, this is sort of like the style that they're working towards. And so for a long time, Redux was a state management tool that was super popular inside of React. And so most people who have done React like know of it at least, even if they haven't used it. Oh, you've been using the mean stack because you have Angular. Yeah, I've done a little bit of Angular. Angular's not bad. At least like the new version of Angular, but it's like has a lot of foot guns in it. And so a lot of companies end up like over engineering it, and then it becomes not great. If you're building a small app, you don't use state management tools, you manage state by yourself. Yeah, it's pretty easy to do. Okay, so we need a router to pull in. So how is this gonna work? I'm thinking we'll just create a router here. So we need to, I need to pull in the router crates. Let's go to u.rs and go remind myself what exactly, I think it's u-router, but I always like double check and unsure. Am I going to go render the server side because it's good for SEO? Not right now. I'm not going to render the server side. I don't have a server on the website to render because I'm basically providing this via CloudFront. So yeah, it's not going to have great SEO. But I don't really know enough about SEO to, even if I'm doing server-side rendering, I don't know if that would really help that much. So we're starting this off with just a standard app. I can use CloudFront functions to do server-side rendering. Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah, I haven't looked into that at all. That would be interesting to try. Router. But it's not included in the free tier. Ah, okay. That makes sense. So to begin with, no, I'm not going to be starting with server-side rendering. When eventually, someday, maybe we'll switch over and start doing that. And either I'll set up my own server to do that, or we'll use CloudFront functions, or we'll switch over and use some different cloud system for it. So it's u-router. So we're going to go to platform web. We're going to do a cargo add u-router. Okay, all the features are in there that we need. That's great. I think we can use u-router prelude star. Okay, so we're going to have this enum with the routes, and specifically it needs to implement clone, routable, and partial equal. So derive, clone, routable, partial equal. At slash, this is going to be home. Do I use a linter with Rust? Yes, so Rust comes with a linter built into it, and it's the most popular one with the community, and I don't think that any other linter has ever been released or even considered at this point. And so there's sort of like two sides to it. There's Rust format, which is the linting for how things look. So like 4 spaces, like tailing commas, that kind of stuff. And then there's the linter for the like code quality, and that's done through a combination of Rust Analyzer and Clippy together. But that's sort of all set up for you. So if you install Rust Analyzer and then you just run inside of VS Code, it just sort of like does it all for you, which does mean that all of the Rust code is going to look relatively similar to each other because they're following the same formatter rules. Mostly. There's some tweaks that you can do to it, but I don't really... I just put it on the most strict versions and just let it go from there. Okay, so we have our home here. This is fine. Next up, we need to create our switch function. So pub function switch. This is going to take in the routes. It's the route, which is a reference to route. And we're going to return HTML, which case we need you in here. Use a catch-all route for 404 not found pages. Yeah, I can definitely do that. Okay, so I want this. We will then match on the route. So match on route. Fill the match arms. Okay, so if we are at home, I need a home component here. So we're going to do an HTML like this. Okay, so we have components here. Probably inside of components, let's create a new folder. This will be views. Instead of views, we're going to create a new mod.rs. Okay. You should find that file. That should be fine. Did I misspell it somehow? It's in components, views, mod.rs. Yeah, that exists. Did I not save? No, you're saved. Okay, whatever. We're gonna put in a new file, home.rs here. So mod home. Okay, so it needed something in it. Okay, so we're gonna use view prelude. Function component. We're gonna call this home. I don't know of any. I don't think we need any properties coming in, so we're just gonna return HTML. And so in this case, we know just gonna put like an H1 here for right now. So we'll just say home. All right, back to the router. I can now pull this in. So use create components, views, home, and then you go in here. So in HTML, we're gonna have home, like that. Okay, so that's our switch. Then when we do this, we need to bring in this browser router, and then we use the switch. Okay, so that is this library here. And then you are okay, so we have our top navbar. I'm thinking this could wrap around everything here. So let's go ahead and use view router prelude star everything. You can become a browser router. Okay, so that's the first part. The next thing is then we have this switch. I'm gonna move this over into my other screen just so I can follow it a little bit easier. Star looks like a Joker. Like from the playing card. Let's see. Okay, so browser router, we have these things. Okay, and then we have our switch. So we have our top navbar, we have our background. So I think right here is where we're going to do our switch. So this will be a switch. You are going to use this route. So use router route. Okay, so route render equals, okay, switch component, so render, and then I pass it in a reference to that function. So that would be this router route, switch. And then we close you out. Okay, so then you should be relatively happy here. And here's our home because we're at slash. Now, if I switch somewhere else, like other, it loads everything up, but we don't get that. So top navbar, is this a component? Yes, that's a component. So then, okay, this is all fine and happy. We don't have a 404 page. That would be a good one to add in. So let's put this in our backlog of create a 404 page. So create a 404 page for, I'll just do that. That should be fairly obvious. All right. One thing I didn't do, I did not create a test for this. This is not necessarily going to be integration tests, Cypress, and okay, so it's not really going to be a navbar thing. I want this to be in just like the main one. So I want to code. I guess it's gonna be like landing home.cy.js. Never really know what to like do this one, but we'll just do home. Okay, so we want to describe. Let's see. Okay, so for a title, this is gonna be home. Okay, so what should it do? I know naming things, like there's that joke. There's only see, what was it? It's the joke is there are there's three difficult things in programming. It is naming things and off by one errors. Okay, so do describe home it. Okay, so it should have a title. So we're gonna do a side.visit to slash. Then I want to get. We're going to do a data test. So this is just the main title. Let's do like a landing title. Okay, so this is failing here because it's attempting to find nav title. Data test nav title. Did I not put that in there? Oh, I didn't. That's why. Oops. Let's see. So this is data test equals nav title. Okay, let's try this again. All right, there it goes. So it found the nav title. It found the logo. That's great. I'm gonna step one out. How do I do this in a new version? Oh, specs. Go to home. Oh yeah, I can check the value too. You're right. That's a good idea. Navbar. So get this, and then should contain Brooks builds. I could also just do should equal. Let's go back to specs navbar. Expected that to equal Brooks builds. Huh, that is Brooks builds. I wonder if I need to do contain instead of equal. Well, it likes that a lot more, so I guess we'll just do that one. Now, back to home. Okay, so I should get the landing title. Let's just finish writing the test for the rest of it, too. So that's enter home. So we're going to get the landing title, and then contains... Oh, no, then should. This is contain. What are you supposed to be? This is the welcome to Brooks builds. So, welcome to Brooks builds. Like that. The big thing for like testing with this is that I don't have to like check that myself. I have Cypress check that. Now, there might be a way to tell Cypress to check like, let's see, so we do not contains, but like equal. It's not really, okay, so should oh, there's a should eq. Oh, incorrect usage. Okay, never mind. It's probably not have value. Not have attribute. Oh, and equal / users. I don't know why the equal didn't work there. That is what it was. Until I figure that out, I might have to just stay with contains. So I'll probably do that for right now. So contain welcome to Brooks builds. Okay, so save you. You come here and say, okay, we don't have this data test. Oh, I did dash landing title. That's incorrect. I want this to be equals. And then you're quoted. Okay, so I'm looking for this data test landing title. We're going to do this in home here. So we'll do a data test equals landing title. If we run this, it will find the landing title, but then it's looking for it to contain welcome to Brooks builds. And it expected this H1 to contain that, but it did not. So we want you to be, instead of home like this, welcome to Brooks builds. Hit refresh. Okay, that makes the test pass. So everything is happy here. You need to learn Cypress. Any book recommendations? Not for Cypress. I think just like their documentation is decently good. Just pulling it down and trying it, like dealing with it. I think that's all you need to do. So let's see. Yeah, just playing around with it. It's and then like just figuring things out. Okay, so that's the test. Now, one thing you may notice is that this is left. Oh, I'm in not the right route. This is left justified. I want this to be centered. The Cypress is mostly for behavioral type stuff. There is ways to configure Cypress to do sort of like visualizations, but I'm not going to really worry about this. So I want you to be centered. So I'm pretty sure that I can just do class equals center text or text center. Is it text center? Text center. There we go. And now it's at the top. I'm at 180%. So this is what it's going to look like at this one. So almost I'm using the text center, which is a helper class from Bootstrap. So it provides a text-aligned center for me. So yeah, one of the benefits of using a framework, a CSS framework like Bootstrap, is that you really want to minimize the amount of CSS that we use. It provides all these classes for us, and we just sort of use the classes. Now, at the same time, if you need to customize it, that's where it can get a little bit tricky and unknown. Okay, so with that being said, exactly, because we could just reuse the classes over and over again. I don't need to set up my own CSS. When I update the framework, everything should be happy. Plus, using classes like these, if I move away from Bootstrap, I can just define those classes and use them myself. So there's a couple benefits to this. That being said, so we just did this one, so the center. Let's see, what do I need to do? Uncle Scientist, Bootstrap is pretty handy for making pages respond well to window resizes. Absolutely. So I should be able to go like this. Look at that. It makes it smaller. So like if anybody is using their watch to read this, absolutely. They'll be able to. Okay, so I've got you happy. There's some things that I still need to do to verify that this is working correctly. Like I need to, so landing page title exists. So that's good. End-to-end test written. That's great. I need to deploy this. We need to test to make sure it's working on all the browsers. And then also sort of like next steps coming up. I need to update GitHub Actions to run Cypress tests. So that's a reminder for like myself of next time, because I've run out of time for the day. So we're gonna have to go ahead and call it an end here. So let's see. Let's commit this. These are all good. I'm gonna stay in this this branch until I like tested everything, get it all working, And then when I do push this to production, well, to the main branch, it auto pushes it up, and then it should be available on brooksbuilds.com. So I suppose you can sort of hit that and see whether or not, it's been updated, but it probably either I'll be doing it later this afternoon or tomorrow morning on stream. So not exactly sure. Status. I'm using a feature branch right here for testing and development. So don't worry about that. And right now I don't need a develop branch for things. Plus I want to use trunk-based development. So don't need to sort of set all of that up. Okay, status. Let's see, that all looks right. Git commit. Okay, so what did we do? We added router and home page with title. Okay, that'll push up. GitHub run watch. Inside of here, there is a GitHub action that I have already, which is really just going to lint and make sure that things are working the way I want to. I think what you're describing, Homeless, is the Git flow style. I like to use more of the Devops flow style, which is something called trunk-based development. So there is only the main branch. In extreme cases, some teams never even have feature branches, but I do prefer to have a feature branch for that. And then deployments happen off of main branch automatically, and sort of like set up for that. There's a great book if you want to read it, sort of like describing the reasons why companies like might want to sort of move over towards this, called why did my I had it in my mind right when I was starting that sentence, and then it just disappeared. What's that book that has all the data and the different metrics? I'm gonna have to think about it, and I'll get back to you. I don't have it like right in front of me either, which doesn't help. You like doing things the old way with minimal automation? That is the most dangerous way to do things. We humans are like not trustworthy. So yeah, I don't trust myself. So therefore, automate everything. Just joking. Okay. The problem is there's so many companies that do that. So it's like, okay, I'll take you at face value. How many books do I read each month? Not too many, like at most one, and usually a little bit less than that. I try to we have a book club that I set up at work, and but that's like, we're skipping this month because we forgot to set a book for it. All right, this passed. My stuff linted. It's all good. It'll do more stuff when I pull request and when I push it in. So anyways, with that, everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. I went a little bit long today. I won't be able to go long tomorrow. I have a meeting that starts at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow, so I have to end at like 8 o'clock. So with that, I will see you in the morning, or otherwise I'll see you online or just somewhere on the internet. Have a great rest of your day. See you next time. Bye.